Your turn, Yogi boy.
What is up, guys? This is AlintheaYoh. Today I am coming at you with a Tellarknight deck profile, and it's kind of like a blend of Tellarknight and Constellar. It's something that the Tellarknight and Constellar archetype have gone through a lot of changes, and by those changes I mean there has been some new support. Hooray! Back in the two or three sets ago, was it Cyberstorm Access? I think it was something like that. They got some new support, and it's been actually pretty good. I've been testing it ever since like that support was announced / released, because Tellarknights are actually one of my decks that I really like. Going from, from back in the day where it's a very helmet-based deck where you would just, summon Deneb, search, set 5, pass, hopefully you drew the counter trap. You would actually be surprised to know that this is a lot more combo-based. Now, in the previous Forbidden Unlimited list, this deck did get, or at least the way I was running it, did get a bit of a hit in the fact that Isolde was banned. So it meant that those shenanigan players couldn't really do, but we have to move forward. So here is the deck profile right here. So hopefully you will like and enjoy this one. This is a bit different. I actually think this deck is a little bit of a surprise to a lot of people in the fact that I think it's quite strong. So starting us off, we have one of the new cards that was released in the 2 sets ago, which is Tellarknight Lyran. Basically its effect is this card is always treated as Constellar. If a Tellar or Constellar monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, except itself, and also except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you special summon it, you can add 1 Tellar spell card from your deck to your hand, and can only use it once per turn. This card is one of your big starters, especially with the way that you run the deck. So you want to see this in your opening hand. It's really strong. I'll go on to some more discussions about how this is actually used. And what you use it with as I go on with the card choices, but just remember that's a very important card for the deck. So for the official Tellar lineup, we have 1 Anuk, 1 Deneb, 1 Altair, 1 Altairin, and then 1 Cirrus. So I'm going to talk about these cards and take a little bit of time. The reason why I have ones of these is because you just don't need to run multiples of them, if I'm completely honest. 1 Anukulai is important because it just means that you can get to certain combo pieces, but you're normally dumping Altair in Engrave. Deneb is more of an end combo piece than a starting one, in my opinion. You go through a lot of names with summon Deltaros and special summoning from the deck. Deneb is there for recursion and also to guarantee a follow-up for the following turn. That's how I run Deneb. Altair is honestly mainly just to recur Deltaros in the combo plays. Altairin is a really strong card and a really good one that catches a lot of people off guard. So it's always considered a Constellar. If it's summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the number of Light and Dark Exceed monsters you control and destroy them. If a Tellarknight or Constellar monster is special summoned to your side of the field, except itself and except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Also, you can't declare attacks for the rest of the turn except Exceed monsters. So this is really strong because not only does it give you removal and an interruption in your opponent's turn, it just allows you to special summon more bodies out, and there's really important combo pieces where that is actually super useful. And then the last one is Cirrus. Cirrus is just here so I can get a bit more of a recursion. You do go through lots of cards very quickly in this deck, especially if you're going first and doing your combos. So giving you a little bit more recursion and putting things back is really strong. So I found that that's quite good. I find that you normally hit that last or a Deneb last. That's the way I run the deck. So going on to some prize choices, we have 3 Constellar Pollux. Now, me playing back in the day really worked out because I still have all my DTs and everything like that I used to run, because I really liked this dual terminal arc. With the evil swarms, the stellars, all this stuff. It was very good, very cool. So we have Pollux. So Pollux is here because, as you saw, the new support counts them as Constellars, and this is really strong because it's not an activated effect, it's a condition. So people who try to Veiler this, Imperm, Ash, so on and so forth, they can't. So it helps give you get knowledge from your opponent if they're misplaying. But this is really strong because it just helps extend your lines. You want to be special summoning a lot, but sometimes you do need to normal summon. and these normal summons, or having an additional normal summon, really helps with this. So I really like running it. And speaking of another card that you probably haven't seen in a very long time, we're running 3 Sheridan. So Sheridan is actually really important because this is a 1 card starter. This is your 1 combo piece for not only if you summon it, but also for the new Exceed that you'll see in a little bit, but just a little bit with Caduceus here. That is who you run it with, because you banish it off Caduceus. But this being able to, when it's normal summons, you add a Constellar monster from your deck to your hand is really important, because what you will be searching, and I'll show you now, is this Constellar Caduceus. So basically this effect is when you control a Constellar monster, and obviously we've got lots of them, you can special summon it from your hand, and then during your main phase, this is a separate effect, you can add 1 Constellar spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and then it has some other additional effects, which is if a Constellar Exceed monster has this as a material, you can, well, any light or dark monsters are destroyed, banished during damage calc. So these right here are very important combo pieces. As you can tell from like the ratios, it gives you extensions, it allows you to net the advantage, it gives you the pluses that you need to stay on top of your opponent, and then also just keep kind of moving forward, to be honest. But yeah, so that's that. And then finally, some of the non-engine cards. We're playing 3 Nemesis Corridor. Now, we obviously know why Nemesis Corridor's in here, right? Right, do we? Any hints? Anything that came off the Forbidden Unlimited list not recently? Maybe a Colossus? Yep, that is right. So, the Nemesis Corridor's in here because of the Colossus. Now, you might be thinking, well, hold on. How does this work? Like, how's this working in your deck? So, let's talk about it. Nemesis Corridor is level 4. If you don't know what it does, you target one of your banished monsters, accept itself, special summon from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target back into the deck. The other effect is irrelevant. So you're only summoning it here for its on-field presence, because you tag out straight away into Thunder Dragon Colossus, if the camera would focus on a guy. Thank you. So Colossus is what this card is here for, because it's it's for like kind of blowouts for your opponent on end boards. It's a level 4. So worst case, you have a level 4 synergy with the deck. Banished cards. How does that work? So I'll go into that in a little bit, but I have 2 main ways to banish cards from my graveyard that are in deck. So in archetype and searchable. So this is quite consistent, I will say. Next up, Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's great. Like, honestly, Ash is one of the best hand traps, as we all know. Quarter Century, Gotta Flex. I've had them for quite a while. You'd be thinking, how do you have all these cards? When I've been collecting, I've not been out. And then one of the other engines that I really like in this deck is the Horus engine. So, speaking which, we have 3 of Insetti, 1 of each of the other ones then as well thereafter, of Happy and so on and so forth. I like having options to 2 rank 8 Xyz plays in the same turn. It's really nice. Again, it helps with building that really strong main deck, that M board, because of the way that these cards work as well, because you need to send things from the deck to the graveyard to be able to bring them back. This also works because Tellarknights can quite easily recur from the grave, and there is something very important as well with the Xyz that I'll show you at the end, in the way that the deck runs. But yeah, the Horuses have been really strong, and I'll talk about them a little bit more when you see the targets. So going into the spell cards, we have Constellar, Tellarknights, and Skybridge. These cards are really important, searchable, so really good. You only need to play 2. This card is key for your combo pieces. Basically, when you activate it, you can special summon a Tellar or Constellar monster from your graveyard or hand. Really good for extending your combo pieces. You can target a Tellar or Constellar Exceed monster and then special summon from your extra deck a Constellar just joined both of those together, but they might as well be that, right? Tellarknight or Constellar Exceed monster with a different rank, and then use the Exceed and the materials as its summon. So this is really good. I'll show you a quick combo piece at the end, how you're using it, but the main thing you're doing is summoning your Caduceus, putting M7 on it, and then using this to then put Deltaros on it. That's how you start your combo piece. The Skybridge is really good, I think, because it just helps dodge things like interruptions that your opponent might have, and also just to free up your extra deck a little bit. Your main deck and hand to alleviate some potential bad draws. Constellar Twinkle. Now, I was saying earlier that this is that Caduceus, Caduceus and Sheraton were really important cards and starter pieces. They are. Because what you do is you go Sheraton, summon, search out Caduceus, Caduceus special, Caduceus search this, Twinkle, activate Twinkle, level up, and then you have your rank 4 play. So that's one of the really important ones. I was also talking about Nemesis, right? Nemesis Corridor. Twinkle's effect is you can target, as you just saw, you can level modulate by 1 or 2. But it also says you can banish one Constellar monster from your graveyard to add this card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this has synergy with both the Horus and the Nemesis, because the King Sark allows you to discard, so multiple times you can bring this back, discard another, so that's a 2 discard. But then also in the extra deck, Caduceus's effect is really important, and I'll show you another thing that you can use with that. But Twinkle is really strong, you only use 1, you can search it, so on and so forth. 3, King Sark, I'm playing Horus's, so you play this. I already said that the recursion from graveyard is really simple, really important. So the synergy is really nice. It's not just throwing in Horus, because it's a powerful rank 8 package. It actually works well with the deck. And it is pretty important for the way that we like to use it. And then obviously, just a bit more support, we have the Imperial Tomb field spells as well for 2. They've been working fine. Don't really need to see any more than them. You can argue to cut some of them down if you really want, but yeah. Power traps, they might as well be traps. Power spells, 2 tactics, 1 call by 1 rotor. You're playing warriors, you play rotor, you play as many as you can. It's only at 1, so. Call by to hit any hand traps, because, you know, obviously this is a fairly combo heavy based deck. It's not, if you get hit by a hand trap, it doesn't kill the deck, but obviously it slows you down, so it's important. And then tactics for that exact reason. I don't play enough thrust targets, so I wouldn't consider thrust. I'd consider upping this, but it's a 42 card deck. It's pretty tight currently, so yeah. Now, let's get into the fun, shall we? Not that wasn't fun. But let's get into the extra deck, and you start to see how this all pieces together. So, wow. Tellarknight, Constellar, Caduceus. Just throwing names in there, like, why not? This is such a good card. Requires 2 or more level 4s, so it's generic, but it doesn't really matter. First effect, really important, and you'll see why the Horuses really work well. If this card is X-summoned, you can target one Tellar and or 1 Constellar card in your graveyard, add them to your hand. So you can be very nonchalant to get up your Horus board to get into maybe a, one of the main cards that you do go into is number 90 to protect you from hand traps. So you can be just get rid of it, and even if they do stop them, then it's like, okay, well, I have recursion, summon this, add 2 back. Really good, really strong. And that's also what works well with, you can discard your spell cards, discard your Twinkle as well. Don't need to activate Twinkle's effect just yet, and you can add it back with this. It's just keeping your hand recursion really nice. And then the other thing that works with Nemesis Corridor is that its effect says you can banish 1 Tellar or Constellar monster from your deck or hand, and then detach a material from this card. This card's effect essentially becomes the banished monster's effect. So, if it were normal summoned. So, you can banish your Sheridan and then search. Get your Caduceus, especially Caduceus, get more. It's really strong. So, a lot of the time you'll either be banishing Lyran or Caduceus. Sorry, Lyran or Sheridan. But it still gives you lots of options. So this one is really strong, and it's actually pretty game-changing for the deck, if I'm completely honest. Then next up we have Constellar M7. This card, unfortunately, is just here to be fodder. As I said earlier, the way that you run this deck is you go Caduceus, then you overlay straight away, because M7 can do that. On top of the Caduceus once you've done the shenanigans, and then straight away you'll use your Constellar spell cards to go into a rank up into a Deltaros. That is literally all this card is here for. Unfortunately, I am so sorry, but you are still a lovely card nonetheless. Constellar Pallades, you can go into this because the way that you go into this bad boy is essentially ending on Ptolemaeus. and these two just go together. This is just an initial eruption and a bounce for your opponent. So obviously you put Ptolemaeus, you rank up, and then you go into Pallades in your opponent's turn, and gives you that advantage and interruption. 1 diamonds. Diamonds pretty strong, I think. You can use this as a side art if you so wish, but I like playing diamonds. Your main combo piece is Deltaros. This card gets abused so much because it is not a once per turn effect special summon from deck. So you will typically go, the line of play is, now follow me with this one. So Deltaros will then summon out on top of the M7, on top of the Caduceus. Deltaros will pop to pop itself. So you destroy itself, send all the materials to the graveyard. It's in your graveyard. Deltaros's effect will activate. You will then summon out a Altair. Altair will then bring back Deltaros. Then you can go into a rank 4 play. Or a link play you'll normally do. Then you'll go into an Xyz play to bring out Gaga Magician. Gaga Magician will detach, bring back Deltaros. Then you'll go into your Appaloosa normally, effect again of Deltaros. You will then bring out another. So this card is just insane for recurring. This is also why I'm only playing ones of things like Altair and Nuclei, so on and so forth, because you don't really want to see them. You want to see them via Deltaros. If you do see them, it's not the biggest end of the world, but it's nicer to have them in the deck. So Gaga Magician, as I said, is mainly here for this, but it's also good if you want to go into things like Zeus, because obviously you're running lots of Xyz, they attack, so on and so forth. You have Zeus as a backup. So that's very strong. And then the 2 rank 8s I play are number 38 and number 90. So what I'll normally try and do if I do open up with the Horus, I'll go into Photon Lord before I do anything, whack that there so I can protect myself, and then start with my Tellarknight plays and Constellar plays. And then, as you saw, I can dump a lot, especially with King Sarcophagus. So it's very likely and quite often that I do have 4 names engraved. So one of the end pieces will be going into Hope Harbinger as well. It's some pretty disgusting boards. I did a very quick one on stream not long ago. And yeah, it was pretty disgusting. I ended up with like Appaloosa with 4 materials. The 2 rank 8s, and some other stuff that I can't even think about now. But yeah, it was pretty disgusting what you can do. Oh, the Ptolemaeus and all that. So the other card that, as you saw earlier, is Colossus. Colossus is just, again, it works well. It's a nice boss monster that you can have in the deck. It's not so important, but I do like it because it makes your boards pretty disgusting towards the end. And then finally, the last 3 Link monsters, or for the extra deck, is IP Masquerena, SP Little Knight, and Appaloosa. These cards are blowout cards as well. Really ridiculous. Appaloosa is so easy to summon in this deck. It is insane, and I absolutely love it. If this card gets hit, which it probably will at some point, it's going to be a bit sad for this deck again. I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit with regards to end boards, but I think you know, as it stands, it's actually a very fun deck, a very disgusting deck at times. Can put up some pretty ridiculous boards, and yeah, I actually really enjoy playing it. What do you guys think? I don't think I've actually ever profiled Tellarknights on my channel. I've had them for the longest time. I know that I did a deck profile with someone in like 2014. Yes, that is how far I'm going back. That is 10 years ago. I do realize I am ancient and a dinosaur, but it is a really fun deck. The support is actually really strong. I think the support is really good. The way that this deck survives is getting, and this is going to sound disgusting, but some certain ban cards back, like Shotmaster and Lavarval Chain. I probably should find space for Daigusto Emerald. If I'm completely honest, I should find space for that, because it means that I can recur certain things back in. I can put some Horuses back in, or I can put their targets back in for not Horus obviously, but I should be putting the targets back in. But the extra deck is really tight with this one, and it is quite a difficult deck to build. There's a great community online on YouTube and that who have these who build these decks, and it is really nice to see. So yeah, I'm glad that our favorite Constellation decks are still going strong. I'm really enjoying it. I should take it to locals just to see how it does at some point. I will try and do some more locals videos, or I'll try and do some to start off with. That might be a good shout. So yeah, but that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think of Tellers. I will say very quickly, actually, some of the cards that people don't know about are these two, and these are perfect side deck cards, and this is where the versatility comes from. Alsham are basically his burn cards, so in time this is a great thing to summon. Inflicts 1,000 damage to your opponent when it's summoned, so that's insane. You can just normal summon and burn. And then also Tellarknight Genesis is destroy as many spell and trap cards up. Destroy spell and trap cards on the field equal to the number of other Tellarknight cards you control, so includes your spell cards as well. Great side deck card, you absolutely run these, it's really strong. So that's where the versatility comes from as well in your side deck, and it's all searchable. That is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.